Well, hello there, everybody. Welcome today for our first in many of our live Monday free marketing plan Q&A calls, webcast. Not sure exactly what the right terminology is going to be using. We're using, at least for right now, the GoToWebinar platform to have you submit your questions and also to be able to have you feedback with your live comments if you'd like. And this one is, do you have any suggestions on how to best retain donors? And they also put, considering a donor is also a client. And customer retention is really big these days, especially in the days of where loyalty is seems like it's nothing. But what I would say is, just like you would with regular clients, let's again parallel this with regular clients. I think the first thing you need to do is you should always be classifying your current customers or your current donors maybe into at least 3 different categories. Let's say the first category might be either the top 2% or the top 5%. Maybe they're the biggest givers, and this is going to be a small amount of people, but you want to break them off and start that as category A. Then maybe you want to take the next break would be 20%. You've always heard the 80-20 rule that 80% of your donor dollars come from 20% of your donors, and I'm sure there's a figure that probably fits that equation pretty closely in your organization. So then create a second group, which is your top 20%, and then basically the bottom 80% we'll call the rest. So you have 3 separate, really, donor bases, donor categories. And then what you need to do is think about how can you add value to each of those categories. And of course, the top category, your top 5%, you're going to spend a lot more time and energy and resources to retain them than you would your bottom 80%, because the bottom 80% is only producing 20% of your donor dollars. So it's important to figure out different ways to value add for those folks. Then what I consider is specialized communication to each of those donor groups. So you've got 3 donor groups. Think about maybe communicating a little bit differently to each one. Maybe the top 5% people, there's a lot more personalized service. And in your marketing plan, you should create an ongoing client contact campaign for each of these 3 categories. And maybe those people are getting a phone call. They're getting some kind of letter touch, once a month, and you don't always have to contact them and ask them for money with their hands out. Maybe it's a thank you note. Maybe it's a picture of them with with someone impressive in your organization, and you treat them a little bit different. Maybe there's a special VIP only event that you have just for those people as a way to say thank you. So you're going to communicate differently with each of those 3 groups, and you need to set up a communication plan for each of those. And then the other thing I consider is a client feedback loop, which is give your donors, your current customers, and this goes well whether they're donors or clients, an opportunity to talk to you. Ask them questions. Ask them how you're doing. Get suggestions from them. Maybe even have an advisory board from some of those people in the top 5%. Ask them how they think you should go about getting more donors. And I know in a donor situation too, donors love recognition. So make sure that you are recognizing these donors and making them feel real important and real special. But again, I would do that at 3 different levels based on the people. So that ongoing contact, getting some client feedback, and then the last question I'd say on this is, how would you like to be treated? If you were a donor of this organization, what kinds of special touches would you like in order to keep you in that really good client category? I buy a lot of clothes from Nordstrom, and I think it's the service they have there. Everyone talks about the service at the customer service at Nordstrom, but those people really get to know you, and they take a lot of information about you, and they notify you by phone if you're a good customer, saying, hey, we've got a sale starting on Friday, but would you like to come in Wednesday or Thursday to see it early? Give people special treatment, and you will make them donors for life, and that's really what you're trying to do. That's all I really have time for today, folks. Appreciate it. For more information, you can always go to marketingplanguide.com. And until next Monday, which is May 24th, and I will be here at 3 o'clock Central. I'll be sending out an invitation on that as well. Thank you for attending, and we'll talk to you again soon.